So let me give you a little background. Some of you might know why I came to Baker Heights, but some of you might not know. But I'm a native from Martinsburg, so I've grown up here. I'm 21 years old now. Grown up here all my life. And before I went to Baker Heights Baptist Church, I was going to Fellowship Bible Church, which is in Shenandoah Junction, so not far from here. It's under the teaching of Pastor Van over there. Really good church, and I went there with my family. And then one day I was kind of just captured by the beauty and personality of my now wife. So yeah, I came here because Sophia went here. So I would go to fellowship with my family in the morning around 8 o'clock. We had a service, a real early service. And then on our way home, they dropped me off here, and I'd go to church here. So that was in 2013 is when I started attending regularly. So yeah, that was my background, how I got here. But I think most of you already knew that part. But anyway, yeah. So when I was 12 years old, I think 12 or 13, I actually made a statement of faith. I believed in God, and I was baptized at Fellowship Bible Church. And I really think that was a genuine proclamation that I made. But after that, there wasn't much of following Christ. I wasn't like, I didn't go off like completely. I was scared out of my mind. I was so worried. The thing that I was worried about, because I knew how I was, I really like to be involved with everybody. I like to make everybody happy. I like to kind of be popular, I guess you could say. That was my intentions. I really wanted to I was afraid, deathly afraid of getting into the wrong crowd. That was my fear. I just, for some reason, was thinking, I'm going to get into the wrong crowd, and I'm going to just ruin my life. I don't have, Sophia's not here. I only know 2 people at this college. It's my second day here, and I'm just scared out of my mind because it's not a Christian, West Liberty is not Liberty University. It's not a Christian university. It's a secular college. It was a good school, and God used it in my life, and you'll see how that happens. But like I said, I was just scared I was going to get into the wrong things and stray away from God further than I kind of already was at that point. So anyway, my roommate he went to a Bible study, a men's Bible study, the year before I got there. And I think it was the 3rd or 4th day we actually start classes, because when you're a freshman, you get there early before classes start. So now we're starting classes, and I get introduced to the Bible study. It was called Alpha and Omega Men's Bible Study. And I'll never forget that Bible study because God used it to, I think, save me. And it was, the people in that group are still instrumental in my life, and I'm very thankful for them. So anyway, what happened is I started attending this Bible study, and I saw 2 kinds of people at school. The ones that had no care for God and were doing whatever they wanted. And then I saw these, I guess, boys, I don't know. We were all 19, 20 years old. Men, I would say that they were men, following after God. And we weren't perfect, but we all had a genuine desire to follow after God. And there was people in that group that just discipled me and kind of just showed me what I need to be doing. I was not really regularly reading my Bible. I wasn't praying regularly, in a sincere way anyway. And it was through going to those Alpha and Omega meetings every Wednesday up in the math room at college that I started to take spiritual disciplines seriously. And it was through this process that, let me back up a little bit. I went to a Christian school all my life, getting the gospel. I went to Fellowship Bible Church most of my life, getting the gospel. My parents are Christians, giving me the gospel. All these areas I had that were just pouring into my life. I had so many spiritual leaders at my school and other youth pastors in the area that were just pouring into my life, telling me, giving me literally the greatest news ever to be known. And they were telling me these things, and I guess it just wasn't as clear to me. But through the reading of Scripture and communing with God and prayer and fellowship with other believers in the local church also played a big role in my life. through all these different things, it was then I realized the gospel in a very clear way. Made me ask questions like, why in the world would someone do that for me? Why would Christ die for me, a wretch like me? Why would he do that? And I was questioning all this stuff. And then I really started to follow God seriously. I took it very seriously. And then there was, after that, after months of kind of communing with these guys and reading scripture and praying, it was through all of that that I think that I really started following Christ seriously. So after all that, I get involved in an organization. One of the guys in the Bible study, he was a Young Life leader. If you've never heard of Young Life, it's a organization that reaches adolescents for Jesus Christ. And it was through that organization that I started leading and hanging out with youth a lot. Then I actually got an internship at the church there and started leading there. And then through all that, I feel like God was calling me to do youth ministry. And long story short, I ended up leading at the church. I was the youth coordinator there, and led the youth group. And it was I just asked myself if Christ was willing to die for me, then I owe him everything. I owe him my whole life. We just sang literally my favorite song. You know, Sophia, it's my favorite song. All I have is Christ, because that's really all I have. And I realized that it's nothing that I did to deserve all this, but it's what Christ did for us. And that's all I have now. And there's a line in that song that says, "Use my ransom life in any way you choose." And I really believe that that's a cry out for me. Use my ransom life in any way you choose. And let my boast forever be, or let my song forever be my only boast is you. So, but yeah, that's pretty much my testimony. I don't know if you guys have any questions about that, or that's what happened in my life. So.
Well, first of all, Fellowship Bible is a good church.
Yes.
I've attended there myself just to visit them, but it's a good church, so that's good. Now, what was the Christian school you went to?
I went to Faith Christian Academy from kindergarten to I graduated. So.
Well, that's good. That's where I sent my kids, so that sounds all right too. So far, so good. Let's see now. Now, Sophia, I'm not sure about that. The other thing is, you're just an excellent speaker. You really are. And you did a great job. I'm serious. I wouldn't say that just anyway. So thank you for your testimony. It was good.
Thank you. Yeah.
God bless you.
What was the Bible study on?
The Bible study on?
You said you'll never forget that Bible study.
Oh no, I meant like the act, like the group. Yeah,
Okay.
like the years of, because I eventually started. I took over and I was the leader of that Bible study. So the guy that started it graduated. He was in my wedding actually. He's one of my groomsmen. His name was, called him Pie. His last name was Piekarski. Everybody called him Pie. And the other kid, or one of the other kids in that group, his last name was Pancake. So Pie and Pancake. But anyway, he led it, and I took over actually. So my junior and senior year of college, and I got to see similar things happen with other college students, which was amazing. God's grace in that. So.
Collin, how many kids were guys, young men? Was it all young men in your Bible study?
Yeah, it was a men's Bible study. Yeah.
And how many were in your group?
When I got there was like 8 of us, I think. Yeah, so there's just 8 of us. There's about 2,500 students on campus there. So there's 8 of us, and there was other Bible studies that we weren't the only one, but we were the only men's Bible study on campus. Yeah, I think there
One
were
of
8.
the things I remember from high school that always stood out to me was there was a guy in the class that at lunchtime we had a Bible study at the church across the street.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always, really special that, we had that, the people that were supporting that way versus, everything else in the morning school.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was definitely instrumental in my life,
Yeah.
for sure.
And don't you think that that was like God's plan for your life? I mean, I don't think you happened to that group accidentally? Or?
Yeah, it was by the grace of God that I got in there. So, because like I said, I've never been well, I shouldn't say I've never been so scared, but I was afraid. I was genuinely scared that I was going to ruin my life there.
Yeah.
It was a short period. It was 2 days where I was thinking these things. And then God kind of calmed me down and introduced me to these guys. So I was scared out of my mind. And I fell in love with this church. It wasn't right away. It was when I started to realize those things. That was my freshman year of college. And then when I started seeing good sound teaching here and the fellowship and everything, in no way am I saying that Fellowship Bible Church is not a good church. I love that church too, and they're good sound people there. But I really did fall in love with this church as well. And Sophia went here, so. Anything else? Oh, sorry, Tyson. Are you go first?
I'll wait.
All right, you go first, Tyson.
Oh, okay. I was just curious, as you're on campus, did you ever have a lot of challenges to your faith directly from instructors or teachers or just fellow students?
So I didn't really take a whole lot of science classes. I had a few. That was where I would get the most challenge from, but I really didn't I don't know. You kind of get scared too because these academic professors know so much, and though their beliefs differ from mine, it's like I don't want to go embarrass myself talking to them about it, or raise my hand in class and say because I have no idea what I'm talking about for the most part when it comes back to biology and stuff. But so there was definitely some of that, and I would just calmly to myself say that's probably not right. But actually with my athletic training is what I majored in. With those professors, I was pretty close with them, so I was able to just share with them, share Christ with them and talk to them about that. And they were intrigued, and they would say they believed in God. I don't know if it was legitimate, but I'm not to say if it was or not, but they kind of accepted it, and I was able to talk about it a lot. Hopefully there was some seeds planted there. I don't know, but so not really a whole lot of challenge, one-on-one directly from, but yeah. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh, yeah. Every Wednesday I would go talk to the Jehovah's Witnesses on campus. And I just had a real strong, I don't know why, I just had a real strong calling to go speak with them. And again, I was just getting embarrassed because I just didn't prepare. I would go up to them and be like, you guys probably aren't right. I wouldn't say it like that, but I was thinking like that. You guys probably aren't right. And they would just drill me and I was after a while I was able to kind of get somewhere with them, but then we left. We moved. So. Did you have some?
What impacted you the most for helping out with the young ones? What made you
with Young Life. Young Life is different. It's weird. So these are the kids that will never step foot in a church. And it's really cool because you get to go back to and you get to do this in church too, you get to go back to the very basics of the gospel. And preaching that is just so exciting. Telling people about that is just, when you have the greatest news, you cannot keep it back. And I say that, I say that a lot, but my evangelism is poor. So, but doing it in that, it was cool to, I guess it impacted me the most that I was able to, that's where I really got to develop, I got to speak in front of kids, I got to talk to them one-on-one with them, I got to share with them the Bible and the gospel, and seeing all that and seeing them accept it, I'm serious, the kids that would never go into a church are coming to Young Life, and we were able to give them the gospel. Now the ultimate goal is to put them in the church, but in a local church, but I guess that impacted me the most, was being able to share with them, I think.
So the Young Life, where was that held at? Is that something on campus?
No, so that was, So John Marshall High School was the school that I was with. It's where Brad Paisley went, if you know Brad Paisley.
Yeah.
He went to school there. That's where I was at. We actually went to a family, an awesome family, and they even had some impact on me. Their names were the Underdogs, and they had their house. They would just give it up to let these teenagers come in. We would do just the craziest games, and I don't know why they let us come in there, but so they opened up. They had a really big living room, and they opened it up every week for us. So.
And then you say majority of these kids did end up in a local church, or?
Oh, I don't know. I was only able to be a Young Life leader for a year. So I got to see some fruit. Some people would come to church sometimes, but I don't know exactly where they went. Yeah, it was cool. It was definitely cool to see that. Yeah, no.
I just want to comment, I think it's really encouraging that you help with Young Life and then you married Sophia. Like, I knew as much as I knew from coming here about Sophia, but I didn't really know anything about you, and then you started coming here for me and my family.
Yeah.
And you guys are helping with the youth group now. I think it's just really nice and encouraging that I got to hear your testimony before later this summer comes,
Yeah.
not know anything.
Praise God. Yeah. And Sophia played just an amazing role in my life too, because when she went, God was working on her so much when she went to ABC, and she would probably say that too. And so for a year we were separated, we were still dating, but she was 5 hours away from me, and I think we went 2-3 months sometimes without seeing each other. Which, when you're a teenager, that's a long time. So that's a really long time. And so God was just working on her there, and then she just continues to encourage me in the faith. I often get very down on myself after speaking or doing something like that, and she's always the one that builds me right back up. So I am blessed. The greatest blessing in my life is when God's grace poured out for me, and I was saved. The second greatest blessing, I think, is Sophia, marrying Sophia. So that she's played. I don't want to downplay that she didn't do anything. She was very instrumental. So, anything else?
All right, well, thank you, Collin.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.